welcome in to this week's episode of Unrolled Stories, a weekly D&D campaign set in the world of Elvoria. We are back with these wonderful humans to roll some dice, attempt some questionable accents, and hopefully tell a decent story. Handful of announcements up top. First of all, what if magic items? If you like Critical Role, specifically if you like Aderyn Angelini's, who we all love here, what if alternate universe art series of the Critical Role main campaign characters, then over at the Dragon's Library, which there'll be a link down below, which is my website, you can now download a free PDF that contains 29 magic items inspired by that art series. So you can use them in your own games, you can make complete fun of them. Aderyn's art is included in the PDF as well. They graciously allowed me to put it there. So please do go and enjoy it, and let me know what your favourite item is, and maybe one of them will appear in this campaign at some point. As I say, 100% free to download and use them in any streams or anything that you want. Also, minor teaser, speaking of Aderyn, for next year, we may have some shiny new things to show you, but we'll be holding on to that over Christmas. Couple of other things. As a reminder, you can listen to episodes of Unrolled Stories as a podcast for all of your commuting needs. We are now fully up to date as well, so the episodes come out the Wednesday after the episode airs on YouTube. So if you can't catch up with the VOD, you can listen to it on your headphones in your car or while you're running on a treadmill. I don't know, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as always, in this game we make use of the Reimagined Classes that are available on the DM's Guild, all as a bundle, so if you want to embody Balrick, Lesley, Aderyn, or Ximori at your own tables, you can. NPC Art is provided by Aderyn Angelini's Art Venturing Guild. The art that you can currently see of all of the characters is done by @LiveDoodles, and the Chibi battle map art, if we get around to using it, was done by WeTheDreamingDesigns. Definitely check them out if you can, and support real artists. All that out of the way, I think it's time to continue telling our story. Previously, there was an absolute chaotic period of all of you in camp being snide and chippy at each other over varying elements. Some rock soup was made. Tauri made a dome. A dragon was gendered scientifically, and many other things happened before we actually got on with what we were meant to be doing in terms of the narrative. Where you all finally kind of discussed what your plans were for confronting Amhrain post meeting up with the Stag Celestra. Next day, you got back on the road, encountered some very quick Fae, and through an impressive bit of intimidation, convinced them to give all the stuff that they'd stolen back. Now, none of it was yours, but they gave it back. And you all kind of wandered away with varying, confusing, slightly magical items to varying degrees. Including a tree stump turned into a megaphone and a rock with a divination rune carved into it. I'm sure those won't come back to haunt me down the road. Balrick had noticed, thanks to the old map that he had found in Geodothras, that there was a shortcut to Bandair. You could circumnavigate a rather large, annoying stretch of road and instead go through an old forest where there used to be a path that is no longer used. You came upon that turning and turned off the road and headed into that forest, wherein you began hiding your cart and setting up camp for the evening, knowing that you'll probably, if this route is passable, reach Bandair sometime mid-afternoon. Fortunately, in time for Amhrain's announcement, which is where we will pick up at your campsite. Your cart disguised and hidden in the underbrush. Your draft horse enjoying some last scraps of feed while you figure out what you want to do with them. A low rumble of thunder comes in from the clouds on this dark night. Your campfire begins to flicker as the sound of thick, heavy raindrops slap against the tree leaves, taking over the quiet of the night. Is there anything anyone wishes to do tonight, or we can move on to the morning?
My regular draconic lessons, please. My Duolingo streak.
Maybe
is a strict freeze.
Intelligence check.
Oh, shit, I haven't done my Duolingo today.
I can do it. Intelligence.
I haven't done mine
I'm
either. I
an
usually end up doing it just before going to bed on these days.
Yeah.
Appease the owl.
17!
Is the owl appeased?
There is a hoot somewhere in the forest and a bird flies off. You're starting to get to grips with it. It's relatively impressive Tauri to you, especially. Like, you've seen people struggle with language before, and Aderyn does seem to be getting Draconic relatively naturally. It's relatively impressive.
Oral.
Does Tauri compliment me? Can I roll for Tauri to compliment me? I really want Tauri to compliment me.
Tauri, how impressive do you find this?
There is a 70% chance that it will be a backhanded compliment, though.
Good.
Roll that percentile die.
Do you
Let's see
wanna
what we
roll
get.
Yeah, Aderyn can roll for it.
Okay.
Roll
What
a
do I roll?
D100. Roll a D100. Get above 70.
Okay.
I've never seen someone choose how they'll roleplay by having someone else roll for them.
That is a 7. Is that a 70? It was not 700. Was it 07? It's a 7.
7.
It's just a 7.
That works. That's a 70.
Yeah, 70% chance. So it's a backhanded compliment.
Yep.
Take it.
I mean, the accent
Aderyn goes
sounds
dead,
like you're
please.
trying to gargle gravel, but at least you can say some words now.
Thank you. I will.
That didn't feel like a
Practice on-
backhanded compliment. That
Oh.
just felt like an insult.
I will practice on the graveliness.
That was a slightly insulting observation.
It depended,
something like
because
that.
you rolled so low, it was slightly more towards the insult inside, whereas if it was higher, then it was a sliding scale.
It was very knuckle heavy.
Yeah, that's why there was the percent. That was why the dice was rolled.
Tress, can we all do this now? Roll a D100 to see if we get that.
Bryn's going to have to actually
Just
make this
going forward.
scale, so like every time.
It varies,
Just
though.
going
It
forward,
can't always
like,
be
how's Harry doing?
70%. It's just 70% when it comes to Aderyn at the moment.
Oh no. We
You've
all
got
have
to keep
different
track of each
percentages.
character's scale.
It's the favour meter, yeah. Tauri has a morality system now.
Is there
Harry
anything else?
disapproves, appears in the corner.
Is there anything
Paragon.
else anyone wants to
Paragon
do
or
this
Renegade.
evening?
I think Balrick
Spare
will
my,
insist on an early night. Sorry. You go.
I was just gonna say, to spare my voice somewhat, Arquen is very
Sleepy.
Solemn.
Mysterious.
EP.
Staring.
he's
at fire.
he's staring into the middle distance.
He's doing interpretive dance in the middle.
He's sitting on a tree stump. He's like sharpening his bronze longsword, and he's got his music box in his hand, and
That's
it's the
a lot of
idiocy
hands.
he's 1,000 miles away.
It's the idiocy from
Nice.
Very relatable.
He's sharpening a sword with a music box because he's only got 2 hands as far as we're aware.
Tauri will probably go through the rune book again, just trying to memorise.
Oh yeah, sure. Can't remember
Because
what you
now
learned
she's
last time,
learned
but feel free to
spells.
roll a history check.
Tomorrow's just going to
Well, actually, feel free to roll. But what are you wanting to get out of this? Are you wanting to get out, like historical nature of runes and maybe follow up on that lead, or are you wanting to get more like technical knowledge of runecraft out?
You said this was quite was this a basic book or more of an advanced guide? Can't remember.
Rune crafting for dummies.
It was found in a workshops, so it's less likely to have been kind of intro
So I
to.
think what I'm wanting to do is try and find out more of maybe where I might be able to find some more basic knowledge, because I think when we did it last time, it was a discussion of I can have a vague idea of how runes work, but I have no idea of how to actually start doing anything with them.
Yeah, this book,
book, it wasn't giving me that knowledge. It was very much. It was almost like here are runes. These are what runes do.
What I remember from it previously was it was more about the actual intricacies of the physical carving of it rather than the actual abstract knowledge behind it. It was making sure that you carved them properly. So what you're looking for is more where can I go to functionally learn the basic stuff rather than
to do it myself. Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be history in this case.
History 22.
Dang. You cross-reference it with a bunch of stuff that you've gathered in the past, right? You've got numerous notes on Runecraft. And through kind of annotations that has been made in this book, because it was a working book, and references to previous like experts or this person's like name is like included in the thing. A couple of things come out to you. It does seem that while you found this in Jirdothras, the practice of it, the origins of the practice of runecraft, actually came further from the north. You get a couple of... I
remember previously we'd known that it was to do with kind of dwarves, draconic, and giant. I think it were the three that kind of formed the basic.
Yes. So, draconic, you've found out, is, especially cross-referencing this, is a much more modern
way of doing it.
Evolution of it, like additional adding to it. And reading through this, there is almost like this genealogy that passes through, where what you kind of devise is that Dwarven is perhaps the most common and like almost the foundation of the practice as far as this book is concerned. But with a 22, Dwarven is not the actual origin. This book seems to infer that actual runecraft originated in the language of giants. Dwarves acquired it by some means, and essentially translated it into their method of carving. And that's where runes become more angular and straight line, like you are actually more used to. And then Draconic introduced more kind of sweeping curves into it after the fact. But that history that you're getting is very much that while Dwarven became the norm, it was not the origin. And that it is far more likely that Giant was the origin. Now, this book is not a history book to that regard, and doesn't necessarily say where giants could be found on the continent of Kaldruin. But it does distinctively reference a dwarven society that existed throughout the mountain ranges to the north. Specifically, you have the Duldagdim of the Rigrad Ridge, or the Rigrad Mountains. And then it does make mention to smaller states that existed in the Sani Mounts, but Riggrad Ridge was a singular societal clandom, for lack of a better term, while the other ones were more pocket cities. That's what you get with 22.
Cool. Thank you. And I'm now distracted by our Tony Stark.
Anyone else?
Ximori is just sharpening a stick and just sort of throwing it at the ground and picking it back up again, and just sort of idly sitting by while everyone's doing their important things, just thunk. Thunk.
Yeah. Balrick will do his,
Some people doing important things. Some of us sitting on a stump, and some of us throwing a stick at the ground.
Balrick will do his evening rituals, like, potions, swords, in his bow and everything, and then maybe if there's time for too late, might do see if you can do a little bit of leather work. I don't know how he's got. Actually, I think we've got the Ankeg shitting. Kiting.
If you've got it, you can certainly start trying to work on that if you want.
Yeah.
Just drive some rivets into your leather, because that's what makes it.
That's
Couple of cowl chops. Sure, make me a leather worker's tool check.
Awesome holes through the chitin.
Leather.
Is there a stat? What stat for that based on?
At this point, it's intelligence. You're trying to figure out how to get the chitin to work as armor.
Oh, it's a 19 on the dice. I think it's plus 3, 2 or 3. Plus 2. So, and I'm not proficient yet in the leatherworking tools. So, 21.
21. Yeah, you definitely kind of look this over, and while like some of it is pretty damaged from the incident where you kind of actually fought this Ankeg, and you do kind of look it over and go, it possibly needs a little bit of curing. There's some bits that are still a bit, insecty flesh. Fortunately, a lot of the hard plating has preserved relatively well. You kind of lay it out and you go, okay, I can contraption this all together, and you essentially just start scraping the elements off so that you can get it into a malleable form, and you can continue working it on later evenings to get it to a state that you want.
Who's teaching Aderyn Draconic at the moment? Is Lesley? No, Lesley doesn't speak Draconic, does it?
I think it's you.
Yeah, it's you.
I'm doing it while I'm working. But I don't properly speak Draconic. We've talked about it. I speak Proto-Draconic.
You know Draconic through magical means.
Yeah, this is the hilarious thing. She's going to learn Draconic, and then nobody in the Empire is going to understand what she's saying.
I don't like.
It's going to basically be she starts speaking Latin.
Yeah. No, it's not Latin. It's more like Old English. I'm teaching her Old English.
They don't understand what I say anyways.
What ho!
I've got to imagine the rest of the camp's like, what is Balrick saying?
To do with my sort of church Draconic.
It's like understanding Shakespeare.
I've got to assume Arquen speaks Draconic as well.
Nope.
He should.
I speak Elvish and Sylvan and Orcish.
You grew up in an
Gallic.
empire. Draconic is the second language.
I was an orc.
I'm your
There was a dragon ball.
I mean, I'll swap out Elvish for Draconic if you want. It's just, I was like, I don't know, I didn't realise that it was the second language of the country.
It's technically the official language, but Common is the
the one that everyone uses, because it's not quite as cool.
Draconic, the way it pretty much splits. This has been explained to everyone else, but you joined late, so that's fair. Common is, as you say, in the common language. It's what everyone speaks because it allowed people to kind of unite much easier. Draconic is the governmental and religious language, essentially. So sermons are delivered in Draconic.
Okay.
Laws are written in Draconic and that kind of element.
It does make some sense, actually, for Arquen to speak Draconic, then.
It's not
as well as being a fucking Dragonborn.
Yeah. Well, if you learn more about me, you'll know why. No, never mind.
You need to learn more about you.
Yeah, if we learn more about me.
I think Balrick knows the most languages, but he also knows a weird selection.
Cool. I don't speak Elvish, but I do speak Sylvan.
Same. But
Okay.
as we've established, I only speak Sylvan to know the swear words so I can swear at fate.
I've got a language I'm fairly sure none of the rest of you have.
I have a language that I am 100% sure that the rest of you don't have.
Yes.
I've got one too, actually.
We've all got weird languages.
Anyway, with that, the evening passes, setting watches between Arquen, Balrick, and probably Tauri.
Ximori.
So I do 4 hours of sleep, so...
I know actual Draconic then. Whereas, I'm like, the hell are you teaching her?
Yeah. I'm there teaching her stuff like ye old.
Literally.
And that's forsooth.
There's a lot more throat in it with you.
I don't know why everyone's looked at me to teach it. Tauri started teaching her.
Are you not teaching me
No,
properly?
I think I did.
I only know the Draconic that Deb knows.
I started teaching her about dragons. I didn't teach her any Draconic. You started
Well, if
teaching her over dinner.
If you've learned it from Derek is a dragon. Surely Derek is the master, right?
I never learned Draconic. I just suddenly Draconic popped into my head a couple of months ago.
Does the Empire not speak the same Draconic as Derek?
Not exactly.
I
So
thought it's sort of like old.
Dialect, almost, yeah.
So the Empire's speaking wrong?
Not wrong.
Everybody in the Empire is speaking wrong?
Not wrong, just like different.
They
Again,
venerate.
not wrong, I say in actual Draconic.
Yeah, that sounds more like it.
Just a different dialect.
Well, how are they going to communicate with the dragons they worship if they don't know how to speak the same as the dragons?
Most of the dragons they worship speak this
Derek
kind
understands us.
and the other kind.
The DM wants to talk.
I just want to be clear to those of you from the Empire. You don't worship dragons. That is not part of the religion.
You worship a dragon.
That's not really how it sort of... But I mean, Derek understands us.
Yeah, but Derek speaks common.
Like,
I've heard him.
in a sort of broken sort of church dragonborn.
Derek, speak.
Sort of say to Derek,
Come on.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Arquen, are you alright? Derek doesn't speak common.
Yes, he does. He was talking to me.
Can understand.
Derek,
You mean you don't speak to commoners?
What's your armor class, Arquen?
I would not be I'd not be carrying my shield, so 17.
Definitely getting bored.
Take 5 points of piercing damage, just bite your hand.
Ow, fuck, ow, shit.
I mean, I probably... Yeah, he doesn't like to be, like, touched from, like, the top.
You're going to do chin scratching.
I growl back at him in Draconic.
You're speaking it wrong. He doesn't understand you.
He's doing the Alsatian.
Anyway,
I'm gonna whistle for Derek, and I'm gonna like, come here, get away from these freaks. Now I'm by my side.
I go back to my stick.
I go back to my stump.
Sticks and stuff.
The night
We take
progresses.
up our idle animations.
The night progresses. The rain does not lessen.
And where will dry
We have a shelter.
Yeah,
Don't have Tauri Dome. Did Tauri Dome?
I did.
Cool. We have a dome.
Stop water getting in from underneath.
But we move on to the morning. As I said, the rain has remained and continues to fall even now. You can now get a decent look at this forest, and you probably take it in. It is thick. It is dense, this forest. it is somehow heavily overgrown and also following the natural order of things, with it now being autumn, with things starting to decay and fall from the branches, and yet gives off an incredibly ominous presence of a place forgotten to the years.
Does it kind of remind us of the forest near the Hag's place? Not in the same like trees and everything, but the kind of same. It's been forgotten. It's not of normality.
Yes.
This is a significant forest of much import.
Does it remind me of anywhere that I've been before?
You have a sense that you've walked through similar places before, yeah.
I get out my jar of insect-repellent greasy salve and start slapping it on.
The heck, stop.
So as the first question is, what are you doing with your horse?
Ayo. Do we want to try and take a draft horse through this?
Nah. Not if we're trying to move quickly.
Yes, it's
quickly
packs
are
on
we going
everyone.
to be able to move, though?
Don't know, what do we do? Just leave him by the cart? Let him
Good way to
go?
make sure we don't have a cart anymore.
How do
Probably
we
best
go.
just to let him go.
Yeah, could we work out if it will be faster to... Well, you know it won't be fast to take a horse and cart with us through the forest. Would we lose any speed if we just took a horse?
Roll me a nature check, or you can ask the ranger to make it.
I'll make a nature check. Maybe you want to make one yourself?
I have...
You've got this. You've got this.
Do you not have inspiration
I have.
lingering around?
I may not
Well,
have nature, but I have animal handling, and I
I
know
have two
forest.
inspirations. I have
No,
two
th-
inspirations.
th- this
Fine.
is-
I give
Probably
advantage.
You'll also have an inspiration from Tauri as you try and work out, can we bring the horse with us?
About it.
I could probably carry a horse.
You probably can, to be fair.
Just firemen's carry a horse.
Is Tauri an 8 or a 10?
8.
8 now.
Between me and Balrick, we can carry a ton. So we might be able to piggyback
11?
a horse.
Yeah, maybe we just carry him and we both just like...
11.
You rolled an 11 with advantage and a bardic.
I didn't use the inspiration yet. I didn't use an advantage.
up to you.
Did you give me advantage?
You get that from if
I
you
was
wanted to
helping.
use not normal inspiration.
I'll use a normal inspiration. That's better.
I was pointing out things about his about Ao's like footprint.
That's 20.
and
That's a 26.
26.
26.
A horse is going to be no more trouble going through this area than you laden with backpacks. The cart is a no-go, but a horse can move through this. It's not like a fence of trees, like you can weave a horse through.
Yeah, we're not leaving AO behind. There's no reason to, you know.
We can load him up with all of the bags then. Not
Exactly.
necessarily
If I looked
We'll
at how
need him
much he
after.
weighs,
I would keep your immediate, equipment on your persons.
We can carry the Bergens, as it were.
Mhm.
Oh, I've got
Right.
my jumping beam.
You do. There's no longer jumping at this point.
Okay.
It's just a beam.
You've
I
got
called
your
it a
beam.
jumping. I've called it a jumping menu bean, and I can't remember why.
Because
Because it always chooses the best option on
Arquen
the
doesn't
menu.
know
Oh,
this, but if you
it-
put it on a
it- yeah.
menu, it jumps to the best option on the menu.
Which I would never do.
No. Good luck.
Unless I'm like fiddling it with between my fingers and to like put it on the table and it like
Yeah.
onto the fucking Chateaubriand.
Well, you know, when Balrick decides to do a fancy meal with actual options instead of just a singular shoe each night, yeah.
What constitutes a menu? Can we write down two two food options and then put the bean on
You
it?
don't know it's a menu bean. Who's
I know.
leading?
I'm just fascinated.
I feel like
All right.
I feel like
I'm gonna lead AO.
Yep.
I think I won't go first. No, actually, should I go first and just...
But you should go first, and I'll
No.
lead AO.
You should be going.
Lead
It's
AO.
either going to be you or
Me and Dirk can go first.
Sure.
I guess
Both
I'll stick at the
sniffing and
back.
winding through trees and following the path.
Make me a nature check. Not nature, survival. Jeez.
How is
These
how
are
is
trees.
how are Aderyn and Lesley doing this roughing it?
Great. Aderyn's a certified country girl. Why would she struggle? Well,
The hem of the
It's
dress
also
you can
raining again,
constantly see is being prestidigitationed clean. It's like muddy and then
Question.
off. It's just like this cloud of mud.
Have Aderyn and Lesley been given backpacks? Sorry.
I mean,
No.
presumably they have been carrying their stuff somehow.
Yeah. I got
Yeah,
that.
Leslie's got like a tiny satchel. I don't know if Aderyn owns anything.
well, I have my portable purse, aka Bank Balrick. I have my portable wine cellar, aka Lesley. I don't know what else do I need.
I feel like if
I
there is
should
anything else
pull-
heavy, it's either Ximori carrying it or it's on the
I was
horse.
gonna say, Ximori's got 3 backpacks on.
Remember when you had an artificer with a bag of holding?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a 19 survival.
19. That is an excellent roll. With your knowledge that a path exists here and your plenty of years of experience trekking through overgrown wild spaces and using like badger trails and the like to walk, it doesn't take you long to actually find the path and begin moving your way through. You spot at various places where things are so overgrown. There's like a fallen tree that is actually, the way that it's landed is filling in the top quarter of a gully that a less observant person would have just walked over, and you can see now, as you get close up to it, Balrick, that it's like rotted through, and with a moment's step on it would have collapsed and just taking you down to the bottom of this gully. You successfully managed to like circumnavigate around it and find a slightly different route before joining it back up on the other side. And as you're continuing wandering through, everything just gets a little heavier. The rain at this point is no longer really falling on you as it is falling on the canopy above you, and that it's almost becoming this incessant white noise in the background as you're just trekking through these woods. Time is getting lost to you. You don't really have view on the sun as it's passing through the sky. And nature itself feels like it's getting closer to you, as it's almost like, Balrick, to you, the forest is paying attention to you.
I push ahead, riddled with anxiety. Casual dip.
The millennial experience. I pipe up with a jolly elven marching song.
I hush you immediately. I'm like, I don't think now's the time nor place, Ximori, I'm afraid. Just be on guard.
I was reach down and sort of free up one of my axes slightly.
Everyone, step lightly.
As you're wandering through, it's been probably a few hours by now, you begin to feel that not only is the forest watching you, something is. There is subtle motion disguised in the dark patches of the trees as you're wandering through, and the low-hanging branches and foliage that scrape towards the bottom of the forest floor. Something's moving out there.
Is it just Balrick who's noticed this, or sort of?
I've told us all to be alert. I've gone. There's things.
Arquen, you definitely notice that Balrick is like scanning around.
I do a perception check.
Yes, if you want.
That is a 23.
23. As you start scanning and like seeing Balrick, suddenly, like a stag just suddenly aware that there's a predator nearby, you begin like scanning through, checking for it yourself, and you begin to see this subtle shift of dark shrubbery, bark-like movement through. And as you just spot it, with the 23, you spot two dark, verdant, glowing eyes peer back, and a voice just echoes from around you all. Who dares tread upon this path?
Always out.
What language is this in?
This language is in Sylvan.
Sylvan.
It's asking who we are and who dares step upon its territory.
No.
This path is lost to you.
Says this path is lost to us.
I'll respond back in Sylvan. We're only passing through.
Nobody passes through.
I'm off the guy.
Is it only us two that speak Sylvan?
Yep.
You begin, the rest of you hear this creaking and whispering coming from branches being twisted and pushed to the point of breaking, and leaves being pushed out of the way before snapping violently back, causing you to jerk your head at sounds to the left and to the right.
Can I draw my bronze longsword and stab it into the ground? And in Sylvan, intone out to them, "Be ye warned. You encroach upon my holy task. Ordained by those greater than ourselves."
Make me... I'll let you choose persuasion or intimidation. I will be rolling an insight check for other reasons.
I will go with intimidation. That is 23 again.
You seek to claim right of passage. The rights of the old court are gone.
Then I pull my sword from the ground. It's like, if it will not be granted freely, we will claim it.
Maramul claims this place. It is mine.
We do not seek to challenge that. We respect your authority. We want to leave.
Your mistake was coming here in the first place. And at this point, you see a hulking figure of twisted and tortured plant life, the size of an ogre, suddenly materialize and shape out of the thick, dense woodland. Barbed spines and needles coat their entire form like some grotesque humanoid porcupine made out of not decaying but not living plant matter, as a mouth full of thorns and brambles grins in sadistic revelry at a chance to defend their home. I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Can I ask, Hugh, can I ask a quick question about your sword, your bronze longsword? Is it magical?
No. Not, like,
Awesome.
actively.
Awesome.
Chris is like, I've got a magic weapon.
No.
I've got
I
a
have
magic lamp, so, you know,
No.
who's the winner here?
No. I have magic weapon,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
Low key, one of my favourite things a player can do is take magic weapon in low level campaigns. Because it is such like a forethought and almost a selfless thing that they can do.
I was thinking I could draw my own sword and magic fire it, but no, it can do it. It's yours. Way better.
Sorry, I'm just...
You've already got deck to magic your own sword.
Yeah, every turn.
In competition.
Nice.
And I'm all bronze, baby.
This sword is going to be so dull after this one fight.
Arquen in a bodybuilder competition where they all get covered in like bronze, proper thick bronzer. Arquen just not needing it. Just like, this is my natural body.
Just an inch thick of bronzer.
Arquen shot, Schwarzenegger.
I came up with him being a half bronze dragonborn, and the concept of him wearing all bronze armor completely separately from each other, because I forgot about each one until.
Sorry, initiative 25 to 20.
Natural 20 for 20.
That's a shame.
Anyone else? 20 to 15.
I got an 18.
18.
Is that 3
19.
18s? Oh, 19 from
19.
Ximori.
Arquen, I don't suppose you want to hold it to wait till I can boop your weapon. Never mind.
Give it the spooky.
Tauri?
Give it the juice.
5.
Can someone roll for Lesley, please?
Sarah?
What?
Your Leslie's bestie.
Leslie's birthday. That was a 15
Although
plus
actually,
whatever.
Plus 5, I think.
Alright,
Leslie's got a
Leslie.
big. Leslie's a
Do you want me to start?
Mr. Dexy.
Dexterous.
Okay, first up with their natural 20, Arquen.
Ooh.
As you draw your sword back out of the earth as this hulking figure approaches in what constitutes a clearing for this forest, but is densely packed with trees all around and low-hanging branches. You can also see coming out of the darkness and from other pieces of bark 5 more of these figures, smaller versions, but equally barbed and made of bramble, and of faces of almost a tortured, like pulled back, vicious smile. That will get a combat.
I think what Arquen's going to start off with is a good old. Actually, so who's near me? Like
Balrick, and then
Balrick,
presumably Tauri
Yeah.
is probably somewhere in the middle, and Deck are probably the closest to you.
Yeah, I didn't know if they sort of came from the front or the side or.
You are surrounded.
The
Yeah,
big
but where's
guy.
the little-
Oh, the
where's
big guy.
big
Little
guy?
ones down.
The big guy
Alamol.
definitely came in front to block your path forwards.
So it will have been us two at the front, because I will have been the front with Derek, and then
Yeah.
you'd have
And the
presumably let Aod go and moved forward to take that speaking position.
Yeah. In which case, I will cast Compelled Duel at this creature.
Love it. Your
He may not seek to challenge you, but I do.
your DC is 15.
Yes.
18 total wisdom save.
Damn it.
Natural 16.
Well,
Sorry.
Well, I can make it. I can
hold on.
give it no choice. And
That was a saving throw, right?
Was
Yes.
a saving throw? Yeah.
What was your DC?
15.
So it missed by 1.
No, it's got an 18 total.
18 total. I will use Latin words, I believe. Yes.
I believe that works on saves. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
So,
Sick.
I believe in a thing called words.
takes off 4.
4, which means it's
That works.
14, which means it fails.
So I compel it into a duel.
It has disadvantage
Basically,
attack
just
rolls against
off-
other creatures
off
other than
you.
you, and must make a wisdom save if it attempts to move more than 30 feet away from you.
Yeah.
Are we still able to attack it?
Yes.
Spell ends if you attack any other creature, if you cast a spell that targets a hostile creature, or if a creature friendly to you damages the target.
Oh well.
So we can't attack it.
No.
That's
Wow,
fine.
we don't know that.
You can't cause it damage.
So you can attack it
I
and
mean, I
miss and be fine.
Yeah.
I can buckle
I
it.
could say something.
I will point out Tauri's custom words are "Stop being a big girl's blouse and fight him, you coward."
So I've got my bronze, basically kite shield, grey shield, out in front, sort of pointing my sword towards it. Just, tip weaving sort of in sort of unpredictable circles.
Nice. You just like
We'll
this
say-
hulking thing. It's like it was initially like going after the lead point, which would have been Balrick, but then like you are this glimmering force of bronze, and it just like recognizes you as significant and as tied to something they don't like, and just turns and begins to lumber towards you.
We'll take the small fry. You get the. You distract the big one.
Until
You
I need
say
help.
this very loud.
Ow! Ow!
Ximori,
I
your
think
turn.
yeah.
Ow!
Yeah, how loud was all that said? Because I'm at the other end of the party.
Very loudly, I have a very projecting voice, enhanced by magic.
All right, I'll take the little ones. I lock eyes with one of the little bastards. And you know what? We're in a sort of old, we're in an old forest, aren't we? We're in a more primal sort of forest. And I think there's a little bit of that that's sort of speaking to me. And it's been a while. So I think I'm going to go full transformation. As I go, not just into a rage, but my Draugshi form.
Yes. Let's
There's so much, like,
feast on
feral-
plants tonight.
I
So much
just
feral
quietly,
energy in the air.
I just
Becoming a
quietly take out,
vegetarian.
I just quietly take out the axes. And as I bring them down, it's something different this time. Instead of the tail, my jaw just all the way up to the ears just unhinges, just with jagged bone teeth. Just
You hear
and then
a
charge.
bestial, just guttural rumble echo from Ximori's throat as something dark just takes over their form. The old world grimace.
And I just, beeline to the first.
Yeah.
We're going to go with the bite first of all, I think.
Go for it.
That is 21.
That hits.
D8, D4. Uh, 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage.
What level are we? We are 5. Good. Let's make that a crippling blow.
Ooh. What do I need to do? Tell me about crippling blow, says the designer.
Crippling blow is a great new feature for the Barbarian Reimagined, where once on each of my turns, when I hit a creature with a melee weapon, I can force them to roll a Constitution saving throw, and apply a debuff on them if they fail, until the end of my next turn.
That's a 10.
Sweet, that fails. It can't take reactions now, I'm going to go with.
Can't take reactions, okay. As this crippling blow just like knocks its head around and it's like stunned briefly for a second and unsure what's going on.
And as it can't take reactions, I'll step away from that one.
It like goes to like lunge towards you, but it's just like so dizzy it's got no capability of getting near you.
I put myself equal distance between that one and the next closest one.
Yep.
And just full on throw the axe at it.
Sick. Roll.
Natural 20. It's gonna hurt.
Go. This is a different one, yeah?
Yeah, this is against the next one along.
These felling trees. They're felling trees, sorry.
That is what I need. I have to remember how the Root Goldberg of abilities I have works.
So many dice. Balrick, you'll be on in a little bit. You're next up in the party.
26.
26, Jesus. As this act, you see it almost carve like completely through this creature, what resembles this creature's twisted torso. And like it goes to totter down, and you see like vines and brambles crawl up and like pull its torso back down. We can see this thing is like leaking dark sap out of what was that wound, as this axe like is embedded in it as it begins to stumble towards you.
I'll just stare them both down.
Which now means
that's me.
It is the big one.
I did forget the compelled duel as a bonus action. So I have prepared an action just to attack it when it comes within,
certainly. That I think that's
range of myself.
Entirely reasonable, of which it does. So if you want to take your action first, rather than it goes. Actually, hold on, give me a second. No, it does not.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's compelled duel. It definitely would. Ignore me. Nope, I'm going to take that back because it has 10 feet of reach. So,
duel.
This helps if I have the energy to read stat blocks before a session, doesn't it? As this thing like lumbers towards you and just like sadistic, hooked grin on its face, it sees your sword and like it pulls up short, and you see it raises 2 arms and just as bramble vines lash out towards you. AC of 17, both miss.
19 actually.
Oh, 19.
Got my shield out.
Highest was a 15.
What did it say its name was?
Maramul.
Maramul. Expect more.
Maramul.
That ends its turn. Terrible turn. Balrick, you're up. Aderyn on deck.
And I'm glad I didn't get hit, 'cause it wouldn't worth smashing him. So as he avoids attacks, and I'm behind him dodging as well, I'm going to go up and I'm going to pat Arquen on the shoulder, and I'm going to go, alright, you've got this, we'll deal with the rest. And I'm going to cast magic weapons on your sword. And there's a nice aura of nature. So
I feel like it like whatever colour your magic is, I'm assuming sort of
a greeny sort of nature.
Yeah. It goes along the swirls and patterns on his sword, and it
yeah. There's definitely an aesthetic link. It looks good together. Yeah.
My artistic brain took over, and it's in my head. It is. I'm getting very artistic at the minute. It's morning, like winter's morning light on holly, and that's the colour
Yeah.
that they're just like.
Oh, that's
I think there might be a
pretty.
slight rime frost as well,
Yeah.
like going over it as well, like a small,
Oof.
like them sort of glitters. And I'm going to push off, and I'm going to pull out my bow, and I'm going to shout to the rest just to make sure there's no confusion. Arquen got the big one. Let's clear this clearing, and then I'm going to fire 2 shots.
Go for it.
Leah's clearing.
Yeah.
There's 3 that have been unharmed, and the 2 that Ximori's been ripping apart.
You got Ximori?
Part of me, I'm going to say part of me wants to finish them off to stop them from hurting, but I take one look and I go, I'm not going to interfere with that. And I'm going to shoot whichever one it looks like it's closest to getting to, like, Aderyn and Lesley sort of way, because obviously...
There's definitely one that's heading towards the back.
Yeah, so I'm going to get for that one. Especially because that's, I assume, Arquen left the horse there.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, I'll add them to the initiative as well.
Well, that means it has stats.
horses can
Stop
kick.
killing another
Having
animal.
pulled that short out fairly recently, I can't kill the horse. I just can't.
21.
You
21.
really can't.
21 does hit.
Yeah. And that is going to be D8 plus 6.
We have some
7 points of damage. I'll do a second hit.
7 does
Dirty
hit.
20
Hits.
and that's a 9, so 16 altogether. Oh,
Nice.
1 minute. As I shoot that second one, I get residual cold from that and from Dirk, who is a nice pale white today. And a little bit of coldness is added to that, an extra d6. That was 16 currently. Just an extra 6, 22.
Nice. As you see ice begin to rake up the side of this one as it's lumbering forward, it seems to like slow its gait and it's like hunched over as the wood plant matter that's holding up its legs begins to age with winter.
Dirk, I can't command Dirk because I'm not got a bonus action, but I will tell Dirk to move towards Aderyn to act as like a protective barrier, so to get in the way.
Got it. Speaking of, Aderyn, your turn.
So Dirk dives in front of you and go like, "I'll guard dog."
Aderyn's going to turn to the nearest unharmed one to her. And after a very, hesitating look toward Ximori, she's going to Chaos
I'm
Ball,
going to say Aderyn can let loose now.
known around. Let's see.
Is
So,
Ximori getting hit again?
maybe.
I think there's been about 3 times the
never
Chaos
mind.
Bolt hasn't hit me.
So that wasn't that one.
Do
Ximori,
you have
make
inspiration?
me a dexterity saving throw. It's too funny.
with advantage.
Is-
No,
I
wait.
know what I sign up for.
No, I don't get that. That is 6.
Aderyn, please roll with advantage. Oh, by the way, Ximori, what resistance do you have for going through Dragshi form?
I'm going to go lightning in this weather.
Love it.
Good choice.
Okay, so
There's hardened, blackened plates appear out that would arc out.
it's the damage is 3 plus 7, and out of those 2, I'm gonna choose psychic, which is the 7.
You take 10 points of psychic damage. Ximori.
Plus 3,
You hear
13 total.
It doesn't actually hit. It's just like the mental thing of Aderyn shot at me again.
betrayal.
It looks like, I look at you with a look like, I'm not the monster, but that is slightly undercut by the fact my jaw is unhinged and there are just teeth. It's split outwards,
Yeah, so this burst of
Well, like
energy
Predator
is
style.
lanced forth
Yeah.
from Aderyn, completely imperceptible. And whether it's just that innate thing of just you looked at Ximori and it's somewhat kind of locked onto them, you just see Zamori's head just snap.
Whoops!
Aderyn shot one way and it just went, no, I want to kill the boy.
Stars.
Anything else in your turn, Aderyn?
A slightly apologetic look.
Or maybe she just pointed the staff the wrong way. Pointed the staff and the gem was coming out.
Yeah, no, she's gonna like freeze a little bit, and that's the end of her turn.
I look back at you as my jet black eyes just complete glassed over.
This is where it now gets fun for me. As the needle spawn all kind of look around.
Very important. Lesley got a 20.
Leslie got a 15, didn't they?
+5.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
They should have gone before you, Chris. But still,
Yeah. Just remembering. So
that's fine. I'll move.
Lesley.
Thank you.
Lesley's got a saving day.
If we don't have a character sheet,
Don't want you to have fun getting.
Lesley can make 2 attacks on their turn. They've got +8 to hit, +9 to hit because they've got a plus magic weapon,
And a
can
bonus
use-
action because they use
Yeah, they can
scimitars.
make 3 attacks.
They can, but they can also use their bonus action to issue a command if someone wants.
Oh.
They also could have got initiative, but we missed that.
Yeah. It's what she gets for not being here.
Yeah, Lesley is
Yeah.
suboptimal.
I
when
think
it's not around.
No command. Yeah, I'm going to say no commands.
Okay,
Let's-
so
let's no commands.
Lesley can make 3 attacks against a creature.
Maybe tell you what. Leslie was drinking last night. Leslie's hungover.
Okay, Lesley is on the back of Aya.
Oh, we're going to charge him.
Lesley will charge in if this combat goes badly. That's what'll happen.
Yeah, we'll leave Lesley. Leslie's there on the back of it.
Leslie is there's
Lesley, we need
two
your help.
for narrative purposes. There are 2 more of these creatures that are currently attacking Ao, and Lesley is defending Ao. And Arquen is knocking over all of their weaponry.
He's made of a lot of metal.
Right,
That's a lot
as I
of
said,
bronze.
this is where it gets fun. As so currently, no one is in melee combat with any of these creatures.
Ximori is.
I stepped away, so I'm slightly outside of.
oh yeah, no
Oh.
reactions. Yeah.
So, the one that is heavily wounded is literally just going to rush you, Ximori.
Yep.
And is just going to swipe at you
Come
with
on,
its
then.
claw.
Mm-hmm.
For a 18 to hit you.
That hits.
Come on,
For
you can.
4 slashing damage.
Is that halved, or am I halving that?
Half that to 2. The other 4 you see.
As a reaction,
Go for it.
as a Drowsy, I can make a melee attack against a creature that attacks me.
Go for it.
So as it as it rushes and slashes me,
Yeah, just like.
I think the pain, given that was a 17 on the dice,
Yeah, literally what.
it's more from me catching the arm. Ximori catches the arm, like puts the other fist against his head and just.
Yeah. And there's just a burst of like needles as you rip it apart that just slash across your face and you just turn around.
That is, I mean, it's 11 points of damage.
Right, this might take a brief second. Bear with me. You see 2 of them begin to like hunch over, and you see the large spines like sink in slightly before exploding out like a pine cone exploding in heat.
Oh dear.
2 of these needles head towards you, Balrick. 1 of them head. 2 of them head towards Aderyn, and 1 of them heads towards Ximori. So 2 to Balrick. It's cocked. I'm rolling garbage. Does a 15 hit you?
No.
2 towards Aderyn. Does an 11 hit Aderyn?
Yep.
Oh no.
6
Oh,
piercing
fuck.
damage to Aderyn as one of these large, like this long needles, just like slant, like
Aderyn needs a ring
splinters,
of protection.
splinters into you, and Ximori a 17
That will hit me.
for 7 half to 3 piercing damage. Yeah. One of them is going to rush up to Tauri, and another one is also going to just like explode out. Is going to fire 2 at Arquen, and 1 at Tauri. So the 2 at Arquen, your AC is 19 currently?
Yes.
Doesn't hit. Rolling so bad. Tauri, an 18 against you. For 6 piercing damage. As this one... And before you have time to like turn and react to one of these large wooden splinters like slamming into your side, one of them fully like just lunges at you, almost like a ghoul, almost like stumbling towards you, and just rakes across your lower limbs, tries to like break in your knee with a 19 to hit for 7 slashing damage. And that is all of the spawn that are alive. Which now means Tauri, it's your turn.
Who was within 15 feet of me?
Currently 2 of the normal sized ones. The one that exploded and the one that's raked you.
Any of our party?
I mean, you didn't go too far away, just so Aderyn.
I'd say Aderyn is within 15 feet of you. But if you're thinking about Thunderwave, don't forget you can direct Thunderwave. It's not 15-foot aura.
It's a 15-foot cube.
Yes, a cube
In
is
front of you.
is a 3
True.
by 3 square you place to one of your facings. It's not around you.
Well, originating from me, so I can put it.
Yeah,
So you're here, you put a cube there, or there,
Cool.
or there, or
Can
there.
I do a 15-foot cube to hit the 2s?
Yeah.
Cool. I will. At second.
One of them succeeds, one of them fails.
How much did the other one succeed?
By literally hit the DC.
Cut in words.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Insta fails.
Yes. So it is 3d8,
Yeah.
because I upcast it. This is okay. 15 points of damage.
Very okay.
Nice, as you see these 2 pieces of them go flying off in a display of broken wood and pieces of a vine as they continue trying to like get towards you and Aderyn.
And they also get pushed back 10 feet.
Yes, they do. Nice job.
Is there anyone the opposite side of me from where they are?
As in behind you.
Yes.
Lesley defending the horse currently.
I'm going to move away from them diagonally, but not get close to the others who are fighting.
Sure. Okay. Tauri, as you kind of back up and like put yourself like back to a tree, like looking around, you suddenly feel something just begin to snake around your torso and neck as a vine seems to come alive, wrap around you and pull you up into the air. You take 10 bludgeoning damage as you begin to feel like being constricted and your ribs beginning to creak and be on the verge of cracking, and you are grappled and restrained and pulled up in the air. About 5 feet off the ground. And Aderyn would have been the other one who was hanging back.
Yep.
Natural 20? 22 bludgeoning damage. As this thing just suddenly from nowhere, from up above, you see this vine with some sort of malevolent sentience just rip down, wrap around you, and you feel as it like pulls around your leg, pulls you upside down. You almost feel your hip pull out of the socket as you're now being suspended upside down about 10 feet up in the air. as 2 assassin vines join the combat. Back to the top, Arquen.
I will step within 5 feet of the creature.
Yeah.
Is this difficult terrain, by the way?
No, you're moving relatively fine through this place.
Having tested its capabilities against myself, I will, in this instance, decide to just attack it.
Go for it, my dude.
Yeah. I think I know what's good. That is a +1, a 21.
21 hits.
And because I'll use a bonus action to cast Divine Smite or something smite.
I missed the Paladin.
Plus that. Smite. Pretty good damage.
Chris, I didn't hit you, did I?
7.
No, I've not been hit.
You're fine.
You played 2024 rules?
He is
Paladin.
playing the 2024 Paladin because I hate the 2014 Paladin.
I will use so that's 22 points of slashing damage as it comes. One of its vines come towards me and I just bash down with the shield and cut straight through it and go in for my.
As you do that, your arm slashes against the bramble thorns and you take 2 points of piercing damage.
I have to make a Constitution saving throw, which I succeed.
You do, in that instance, realize that it's just your full strength strikes that mean you're unable to avoid these blows. If you decide to be a little bit more careful, roll with disadvantage, you can avoid that damage. But that is just information you gain.
How difficult was it to hit, do you think?
It's not wearing armor and it's made of plant matter. It's solid bark.
And it's bulky.
I'll take that. So second attack will be a disadvantage. That's still a 15.
That's what you need.
Hey! Second attack is a mere 13 damage.
Ooh, nice. What does it look like as the Divine Smite hit through? And good point, +1 from magic weapon. Do I need that?
Yes, I included that to both of them. I think it's just, the blade, flashes, snicker snack of the vorpal blade. And it just, parts the vines with ease. You've seen him honing this weapon constantly,
flash.
And it's,
Impact flames go off like crazy.
Anything else on your turn, Arquen?
That's my entire thing.
Ximori, you're up. The one that your axe went through is dead.
Okay.
The slight glitter as he slashes through as little ice shards pop up as well.
I pull my axe back out of the corpse. Turn around. Before I do that, wisdom save, because I'm Draugsheed.
Yes, you are.
I'm good.
I think that's the first time we've ever had a success.
Yep. I see Tauri is in the air. I see Aderyn is in the air, but in a worse position.
Yes.
But also, they just shot me in the head. So I'm going to aim at the one that is holding Tauri, the assassin vine, and just throw the new axe at it.
Go for it.
We'll go reckless.
Sure.
That is 17 plus 23.
23 hits.
$15 points of slashing. Sorry, 16 points of slashing.
You see this thing get heavily cut, but is still tough, and the other vines starting to loop around and pull her further in.
And I will do a dramatic spin and throw my other axe.
Nice, go for it.
17. Natural 20.
Yeah.
We're back, baby.
Fucking hell.
20 points of slashing.
20 points of slashing. It's still barely hanging on, but you can see like it's starting to groan underneath, just trying to hold Aderyn up at this point. It's so badly damaged that it's struggling to maintain it, and she's like, starting to come. Sorry. As they're starting to come back down, like it can't hold her up in the air with the amount of damage that it's taken.
And I will run forward, leap up, grab another axe, grab one of my other axes, and bonus action.
Go for it.
Grab onto it and slash.
Is your axe currently in another thing? You've got a third axe in a thing.
I have 6 axes.
No, you already threw one. Was it embedded?
No,
in
that was the
corpse?
one. That was the one that then ran at Ximori to try and kill them, and Ximori just took the axe back.
So you pull the axe out of the corpse to
Yes.
run with it.
I've then thrown 2 axes at it, used my object interaction to pull a third axe,
Go for it.
and gone up to slash it. That is 20 overall.
That hits. No strength damage on this.
No strength, but I do get my rage damage,
You do indeed.
which is 8, 9, 10, 11 points of slashing.
At this point, it's still holding on to Tauri, but like she's fully on the ground and no longer held up in the air. Tauri is still grappled and restrained, but this thing is verge of death.
Yeah. I'm just supporting I'm just pulling it down to the ground, so I can't lift Tauri, I'm holding it down.
At this point, Marimal, with their heavy gash, just turns to you, Arquen, and says, "You're touched. Shame to see you become one of mine." As it tries to rake you with its raking vines again. That is a 19 and an 18.
One hits.
One hits. Paladin's an armor class. 8. 12 piercing damage, and you are grappled in this vine as it like pulls you close and just begins to.
Good, that's where I ought to be. Con save.
I assume you succeed on the con save,
I did. I just rolled the 9.
which means it's Balrick's turn.
Alright. Tauri is freed?
Tauri is not yet freed, no.
As good as freed.
Only 40. What was it? 40?
Assassin
Five
vines. Assassin vines have a lot of HP.
Jesus. Okay, I was going to try and think. Just you and Tauri. Well, I'm going to see Aderyn in danger, and I'm going to shoot at that vine.
Go for it.
Hit that vine.
Get that vine.
Do I command death, or do I hunt as
For the
mark?
vine.
If you Hunter's Mark, magic weapon turns off, doesn't it?
You did not with the Ranger Reimagined, where Hunter's
Ah,
Mark
good point.
is no longer-
I did do
Well,
that.
Hunter's
Now
Mark
available on the
is no
DM
longer,
skills.
Concentration now available on DM skills. Get rid of
Why is it
concentration now.
rules?
If you
Fuck
relied on a
concentration.
spell for your class features, it shouldn't be concentration.
Yeah.
Not concentration. Extra damage. Or can I get Dex to do something? What? She's 10 feet in the air, isn't she?
Correct, yeah.
Within my hands, like I just don't.
Dex
Also,
has a-
upside down with your hip being pulled out of your socket. It is painful.
Dex has,
Yeah, it's
Dex
not
has
the
a strength
best.
of 3. How high can he jump? Would Dex be able to jump and grab Aderyn?
Yes. With an
With
athletics
the
check. Wouldn't be a hard
feet,
athletics check, but with an athletics check.
I would take this to the head.
Can I command Dex first, or do I have to take my turn? And
No,
then
you can
have
command
Dex?
deck first, that's fine.
Can I shout at Dex, grab Aderyn, drag her down to try and get him to drag her out of the...
So you're
Fine.
trying to get Deck to break the grapple, essentially.
Yeah.
Cool. Make me an athletics check for Deck.
That is a... It's a +3 now. Does he have extra athletics? No, it doesn't. 21.
More than enough. As Deck gets up and just bites through and just like ragdolls the vines that are holding Aderyn and pulls Aderyn to the ground. Your choice. Either Aderyn make an acrobatics check or Deck make one.
I think it'll be
You know what?
Aderyn get it.
Go on.
If
This
Dex
is
goes
10 foot off the ground. So this is like when a dog is when a bulldog is grabbed onto a rope and it's just like.
That's a 9.
A 9. You each, Derek and Aderyn each take 1 point of fall damage.
That's
There's just a bit of a hard landing. There's a root sticking out that you just kind of roll your shoulder onto. Balrick.
Alright. One moment. There it is. I lost Dex HP then. Seeing that happening, I'm like, alright, that's fine then. And then turn to the other small things to try and get rid of them again. Go for the one that I've already gone for.
Yep.
And I'm going to do an 8 or a 3? 8. 19.
It's
Hit. D8. $11 points of damage.
this one has turned to go after the now prone Aderyn and just straight through the back of its head, and it just stumbles on the floor as its arm reaches out towards Aderyn on the floor.
And then Tauri's nearly freed.
Yes.
I'm going to shoot my other one at Tauri to try and split the rope. The
Okay.
vine.
Go for it.
Sorry, Ximori. I'm going to take it from me. Oh, God. Does it count as a nat 20 if it was on the floor?
No.
Well, it's an 18 plus 11, 29.
It's roll the damage.
Control your dice rolling if you want that nat 20.
Yeah. No, I never explored it. I need the tray. I lost my tray, so. 4 plus 6, 10. 10 points of damage.
That's enough as this one cuts through and Tauri, you suddenly feel like the vines loosen. Aderyn and Tauri, you were distinctly aware that you could begin to feel barbs or stinging tendrils begin to seek through your clothing to try and sting you, and you were distinctly aware if you were still grappled in this, that was going to hurt like hell. But Tauri, you are freed. Aderyn, you are freed, but the thing is still above you, and you can see its vines beginning to come back down. Speaking of which,
I'm going to shout back to Arquen. Do you need help? Because I can see Arquen's wrapped in a spiky embrace.
I'm grappled. It's sort of got a thing around my arm, and I'm just not yet.
Just having a tug of war with it.
it has moved somewhat around you. Just it's not static, it's just moving around, but it is locked in on you. Aderyn, your turn.
Aderyn's gonna scream at the vine. And she is gonna chaos bolt at it.
Swear to God.
I'm really gonna hope this works.
Swear to God.
To be fair,
Here we
that was
go.
just firing at one that was near Ximori. It was too funny in my head. It's not going to be a standard thing, I promise.
The damage I've taken in this fight has been Aderyn shooting me in the face again.
Give you a dex
It
save.
bounces.
What do you want from me? Aderyn.
How bad?
That is. Oh wait, 7 plus 7, 14.
That hits.
Ooh, okay.
Now
Awesome.
watch it bounce.
Okay. So that is a 5 and a 3. It doesn't bounce. So 5 plus 3 plus 5, and she's gonna choose fire.
Fuck. Yeah.
Burn it.
Which doubles 26.
Oh yeah!
Why is Jack a cold dragon today?
Yeah, as you unleash this bolt of fire in screamed anger, you see it just begin to take up on the ivy vines that were pulling down as it thrashes in some semblance of pain, but it is still functionally operational.
And then she's going to Misty Step away.
Is Chaos Bolt a cantrip or a level 1 spell?
Oh,
Everyone's
level 1.
So you can't Misty Step. Can't cast 2 spells in the same
True.
time.
You can run away.
Will that not be
10
opportunity?
No, it's 10 feet away.
Oh, is it that far up above me? I thought it was
It's on the range of the assassin vine.
Okay, yeah, she's gonna run a little bit away.
What's your armor class?
Oh,
11.
Still
Well,
yours.
with an 11, as you run away, another vine comes back down, pulls you by the leg up to the. It doesn't pull you up in the air, pulls you back to the base of the tree that it was pulling on. You are grappled.
Does Tauri not have any cutting words?
And you take
We haven't got back round to Tauri.
12 bludgeoning damage and are once again grappled and restrained.
Okay, one sec.
How far away from where Tauri is was
Yeah, I'm
Aderyn?
down. I was just counting my
How far away
helmet.
from where Tauri is was Aderyn?
Aderyn is yanked back into the tree, and you see her head just crack against the tree, and she just goes.
Ah!
Oh.
It's now a ragdoll.
It is now the
She's
remaining
not made for combat, guys. She really isn't.
Thorn's turns.
She's a glass cannon, you know?
Friendly fire cannon.
So we have.
You don't have shield or anything?
You already cast a first level spell.
I'm okay with-
Reaction.
Fire class. Oh.
Reaction. Gethin just said he's okay with
I'm
it.
okay with shield. It's counterspell that's the problem.
Okay. She'll do a shield
telling-
then.
Your
Okay.
spell, when it's also being counterspelled, is a
See
bit
a glimpse
left.
of a future where Aderyn's next.
Yes.
And it is not a nice picture, so we go, rewind. Block the save up, block the save up.
There is a flash of kind of crystalline purple force field as this thing lashes out towards her leg and
Reload
is
save!
repelled.
Reload save!
and Aderyn manages to escape away from being knocked unconscious. That was good because it was going to be their turn before anyone could help, and that was going to be a problem.
2 deaths.
41 minus 12.
Oh, what?
41 minus 12.
What do you mean?
What's 41 minus 12? Do the maths boy.
29.
Thank you.
Come on, maths boy.
I don't want to do the maths
Welcome to the rest of
myself.
your life, Chris. Nice boy.
It's my career.
Maths boy.
It is now the Needle Spawn's turns. There is nothing in Compelled Duel that says they can't run up and try to stab you in the back, Arquen. So one of them is going to run up and try to claw you in the back of the head.
That's fair.
With a natural 19, I think that will hit.
Actually, I can't. I'm not going to
Fair
change.
enough.
I was going to say I'm quite near to Arquen, I think. So like back to back. but he's
6
quite close.
slashing damage to you, Arquen. The remaining other 2 are going to once again just explode out with needles.
Could I not have? Because I was like in the way of Arquen and the fight. Like I was acting like as a Barrick. Can I not have like tried to?
I thought you went over to help.
I didn't move
Aderyn.
anywhere. I've been near you,
He's
shooting
like
arrows.
sentry gunning in the center.
But I figured I was near you, like 'cause we were next to each other. I patted you back.
I can
and
let
moved
you,
forward.
I'll let you make an attack of opportunity against the one that.
On the other
attacked
hand,
Arquen.
I've got an attack of opportunity with a bow, or I tried to grapple a spiky thing.
So
So
just-
actually, I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. Yeah.
2, 4. Yeah. So there's going to be 2 needles shooting out to the other 4 of you, not at Arquen. So Aderyn, whose AC is currently 16 because of shield.
Nice.
Look at me.
2 13s as they shatter against your
I'll
shield.
make you shield.
That would have
Mm.
killed me.
Against Balrick, high of 12. Against Tauri,
I'm dodging. I'm like, yeesh.
the lowest is an 18 against Tauri.
I am
Yeah,
going to use my inspiration for Get Down.
Okay.
So where Tauri's on the ground after being, I just like pull her around behind me.
Technically, Tauri is prone. So that is just
It's
one
on the
attack
ground,
that would hit at that point. I'd have to roll again for the other disadvantage. That will now be 3 attacks coming your way, Ximori, in a second. There is still a second one.
Yeah.
Does a 13 hit you, Tauri?
Yes.
Okay, so that one still does get through for 4 piercing damage. Ximori, the one that you took, is another 4 after 2 for you.
Yep.
And then the 2 that were aimed at you in the first place, as
Yep. As I just sort of skitter Tauri along the ground out the way.
this clearing essentially becomes like a storm of wood shrapnel that like just Everyone like ducks for cover. The lowest is a 16 against Ximori.
Then they'll both hit, because 16 is my armor class.
6 plus
I'm gonna say I do a cool backflip.
12, half to 6.
That's so unnecessary.
That ends their turn. It is now the Vine's turns. The one that was on Tauri is dead. How far away did you run away, Aderyn? Because it would have taken... the
Further than you need to
the
hit.
max you could have moved is 15 feet.
15 feet.
Because you had to get up from prone.
Wrong.
15 feet.
Okay.
Towards Lesley, I assume.
They do
Towards
technically
safety.
have enough movement to get you back in range, but what they're
We don't
going
want
to
silly
do,
old me.
seeing that a few of you have now like clustered in trying to get away from it, you can see that a bunch more, like it like spreads out its influence, and a bunch of other vines from nearby trees begin like bursting out. And I need Aderyn, Tauri, and Ximori, who are all in that area, to make me strength saving throws, please.
Oh no.
I'm so super strong. Yeah, super strong.
I'm assuming
7.
succeeded. 7,
She's
Tauri.
not having a good day.
17 from Tauri. Nice. Ximori?
Hang on, I'm just trying to remember how it works. There we go.
Add your con currently.
Yeah. Plus, that is 34.
Is Con... Whoa, okay. Is Con getting added to damage as well for Ximori?
No, we modified. So the original
Paladin
write-up
strength feat,
of Barbarian Reimagined was you automatically have advantage in all strength saves and dex saves, strength and saves and ability checks. In retrospect, I felt that was, I don't think it was there. So instead, it's now you add your con to those checks and saving throws.
I was
instead.
just... Ximori was doing a lot of damage. I was just like...
He's got the
I'll do that.
plus
Yeah.
1d4 from the feet as well, which is doing a lot.
that's right. It's okay. That's right.
So the only person that is entangled in these vines is Aderyn. As Aderyn, you're running away, these vines and roots come from the floor and just like pull around your legs and just stop you mid-place and then lash your limbs, and you're kind of like Frodo in Shelob's lair kind of thing, like suspended slightly in midair, trying to pull against these restraints. But there is no damage.
Like a
That's all that
doll.
happens. Tauri, you're up.
You're one
Like
to
a
speak,
doll.
Arquen. Like a doll.
Tauri swears, and then
Apparently on the ground, prone.
What's wrong with the marionette girl?
Just to refresh the scenario for you, you've still got the large one kind of brawling with Arquen. There is one on the other side of Arquen trying to stab him in the back. You have 2 more of the ones that are more central to the whole endeavour that just exploded outwards. They're relatively close to each other. And then you have this one assassin vine that is like slowly almost like sloughing along the branches, trying to chase after Aderyn as its long tendrils are coming down.
are those 3 within a 15-foot cube?
No, the 2 humanoid-looking things are, but not the vine.
It's too high, is it?
It's a little further away to be within the cube, that's all.
Are there any that Balrick has shot with arrows?
No, there's the 2 that you thunderwaved that are still up. Those are the 2 that are in the centre, because you pushed them essentially into the centre there.
I am going to get them within 15 feet and then cast Thunderwave again.
Cool. Con saves. Both fail!
Cool. I'm slightly pissed, so it is a level 3 Thunderwave.
What? Sick. Go for it.
Where's the
48?
Yeah. 15 again.
15.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
You see both of these things detonate in an overwhelming display of like volume and force. And what you see as that happens, what actually explodes out, is what explodes away is all of this bramble work and bark that's kind of hooked on. And you see underneath a corpse, essentially.
Man in the suit.
A not long decayed, it's almost like it's been preserved, knotted up in here, but definitely aged, withered, and emaciated corpse. that this thing seemed to have been sprung around, like giving a sentience of life. And at this point, with that level of kind of perception, you can see that the one that Ximori cut in half, that dark sap, was actually like heavily viscous blood that they would have been cut in half, as Ximori essentially actually cut a dead corpse in half.
So not a little pixie piloting a vine mech.
No, it's almost like like a plant exoskeleton around a corpse. Tauri, anything else on your turn?
As a bonus action, I will give Bardic Inspiration. Arquen.
Arquen, your turn. This thing's still looking fairly healthy, but its allies are wearing thin.
I will go for another regular attack against this thing.
Regular, sure.
8, say 16. It hits.
You do take 2 points of piercing damage.
Yep.
Oh, also, because you are grappled, you take 11 piercing damage at the start of your turn. As you feel the barbs begin to sink in.
Right, alright. So...
Change of plan.
Thank you very much. Ow.
I think so. Oh no, yeah, it is.
In which case... I lose compelled duel anyway. Never mind. So
I still think he's pissed enough at you to fight you anyway, but...
Yeah.
Oh, is Arquen? Is it Arquen's turn now?
Yeah. Yes.
Did you hit it?
I haven't hit it yet.
Okay, I was sorry. I just need to know when you hit it.
Okay. In which case, yes.
Stand by.
So 1 attack, 16. Take 2 damage. I don't need that. I don't need that HP anyway.
I'm fine.
I will make this a regular attack. For 7 plus 4 plus 1.
12.
That's boy. 12.
Nice.
All Balrick, fire!
This creature is now officially bloodied.
Cool. And I will go for a second attack. Another regular. Natural 20.
Fuck yeah, you take 2 piercing damage.
As you go to hit it, I look and see that you're struggling a bit, and I'm going to direct some of Dex energy towards that magic weapon, and the ice on it glows, and you get that extra d6, which is now an extra 2d6.
Fuck
as
yeah.
your sword is coated in ice.
Okay. I'm also casting Wrathful Smite at 2nd level.
Fucking love it. I can't tell whether I dislike the fact that Chris has realised that he can crit fish through Hugh for dex damage, or whether I think it's brilliant tactical nous.
I think that thematically, it's not tactical, it's purely aesthetics. I've given him the elemental weapon and it works through it.
Oh no, don't I love it. It's just one of the things I'm just like, I don't like that the rest of you can stack on top of Hugh's ability to get crits.
It's the reason I wasn't taking the disadvantage. I was like, this is stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I love it.
And it worked. It fucking worked.
Wrathful Smite, 2d6 from deck, standard
So,
weapon, let's go.
That's 7 on the die again, plus 2d6 cold. For another 10 on the die, plus 2d6 necrotic.
Is Wrathful necrotic? Sick.
Yes, it is.
Oh wow.
For another 8. So, what do we got? We got 12, double to 22, 24 even. Yeah. Plus another 12, double to 30, so 36 total, plus another 14 for 50, plus 5 for 55 damage.
Do you have the half-orc savage attacks feature?
I do! Ooh. So that's another 8, why not, you know?
How do you want to do this?
So, essentially, as this thing backs me in the back of the head, I'm just like, you see a little like flash of like lightning from his eyes, and then it just the ice magic on his sword combines with a sort of like dark green energy which swirls through the sort of like mist swirling in like a dark ravine full of dead trees, and I just like feeling the vines like gripping into his arm and poking like through into his flesh. It just like I just plunged the sword straight like up into it as the necrotic and coals like spread out into the creature and it just dies from the inside out.
You essentially plunge through and hit what constitutes this creature's heart, and in that moment unleash that burst of death and winter through a plant-like fey, and just watch it wither on the vine around your arm, and as it seeps away from your blade, you just see Mammal just leaves begin to fall and shrivel on the vines.
Does it have a face of any kind, like a humanoid or anything like?
You look inside, and as you're up close, you can see that unlike you've been busy fighting, you necessarily haven't observed, but for the rest of you, this is not a corpse wrapped up by any means. This was an entity itself. It is inherently magical and fey in its nature. It is both humanoid and plant at the same time.
Yeah. As it sort of descends down and like the leaves start to fall, I sort of caress its face and just say, like, "You have given into despair, Marimar. I release you."
There is a sigh of relief and a look of hate as you take off its head. The assassin vine that was chasing after, the vines around Aderyn release her back down. The vine itself seems to lose all form of sentience, and the one that Balrick, as you were turning around to release a shot into the back of its head for attacking Arquen, it just seems to stumble, the plant life falling off, and this corpse that's inside just drops to the floor.
I also like to think the extra 8 damage from savage attacks is lightning, by the way.
And that is where we're going to take our break. And we'll pick up from the aftermath of this combat in a little bit. And welcome back. We're going to pick right up with the fact that right now Ximori is in Draugshi form, and while the immediate danger has dropped from the dangers of the forest, Ximori, you now have a battle of wills on your hands. As Bast just erupts into your head, "You promised me food."
Ximori throws down the remaining axe in their hand, and in their head, just as they sort of imagine themselves and a weird sort of Tabitha amalgamation behind them that is taking the position of Bast. And Ximori just turns back around to that figure. "I said you'll get food. And you will. But there's a much bigger meal coming, so save your appetite."
What do we do about her? You feel like your just attention somewhat pulled towards Aderyn.
I am going to punch myself in the face.
While this is happening, I'm assuming the rest of us are like picking ourselves up from the floor and whatnot.
I've got an arrow pointed Ximori's way.
Aderyn's going
I'm
to.
approaching slowly.
She's going to attempt to cast something that she's not cast before.
Don't say the name of spell, tell me what it needs to do.
Yeah, she's going to turn towards Ximori, and like the fear that she had on her face at like the things that were happening, like the thorns and everything, does not go away when she looks at Ximori. She looks at them like they're another enemy. Because she's just getting like the flashbacks of when tiny little Torgrim was killed right in front of her and everyone was dying and she was covered in blood, and like she like outstretches her arms and like you see her kind of like almost like a sheet of anger goes over her, and she's going to attempt to like grasp Ximori in place by casting Hold Person.
Wisdom save, please, Ximori.
Charisma.
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
I'm running a wizard with both versions of Hold. It's wisdom.
Fair enough.
Is a 13.
Which is a failure.
Pretty sure
Still didn't make it, nothing.
DC
that is a fail.
As Ximori, you lock up and just in your head. See, she hates what we are.
In back at Bast, because my mental self is not immobilized.
And Aderyn's gonna like signal at Balrick to be like, what do we do?
Let Andrew finish what he was doing.
Sorry.
My mental self turns back to that weird creature that I've created in my head for Bast. And I grab it by the throat. I'll let everyone hate me, I don't give a fuck. But I decide what I do, not you.
So be it.
I'm going to roll. 6 seconds go by. I roll wisdom save first of all.
Have advantage.
Yep. And then a wisdom to break out of Hold Person. That is bad. That's an 18.
Yeah, that works.
I'm approaching with my board drawn, just before it isn't like, Ximori, are you in there?
Where my hand sort of mid punch. I grab the split halves of my jaw. Lunch?
What was that?
What was what? Oh, the jaw thing.
Yeah, the jaw thing.
Well, like, you know how like I make the claws and stuff?
Right?
I was sort of thinking, like, you know, like big like plant things. I've got my axes, and they're just sort of plant-y, so sort of stabbing them with a tail's not going to do much. So I was thinking, okay, you know, what else sort of works? And you know when you get like a nice big like a nice big fish, you take a good like chomp out of it, and they look sort of like viney, you know, like they look like big tube shapes. So I think I'd probably get a good chomp out of them. So I wasn't expecting it to split down the middle. That was unexpected.
Can't fault
But
them.
you had a in control.
Yeah, I had a chat with the other one.
Well, if it's under control,
Yeah,
Aderyn?
Balrick, I'm fine.
are you okay with it?
You didn't see it fit to warn us?
I mean, to be fair, I wasn't really expecting it to happen.
How sure are you?
I don't always have like a rein on letting it out. And even when I do, I'm fighting to keep it under my control. This time it worked out, and I figured there were enough of them around that I'd probably go after those first, even with you shooting me in the head again.
You did what?
She's gonna ignore that. And if you hadn't gone after them first?
Well, when I get, when I feel it, it's not just I just want to take anything out. It's when there's a challenge to me. And the big one, that was a challenge, but also wasn't mine, Arquen shouted about that, so I turned it out somewhere else.
I can't say it feels good to just allow it and say okay, but at least it turned out well. That was not a good look on you.
Whatever it is, however much I dislike it, it's part of me. And if I'm afraid of it, if I let that fear take over, that's when bad things will happen. I think, anyway.
There's some things about ourselves that we should never not be fearful of.
It's probably a good point. But I look down at all the various things, large pieces of wood sticking out of me. Sometimes I don't know if I want to be afraid of it.
As Ximori points out the large pieces of wood sticking out of them, I'm going to turn to Aderyn and see that Aderyn is also full of holes and stab him. We're like, oh god, oh god. Everyone come here. Alright.
Hang on, let me get my axes back.
Yeah,
Oh,
alright. I'm going to
axes.
start bandaging people up and I'll cast a bunch of cure wounds.
You can also
that's
take a
fine.
short rest if you would prefer to conserve spell slots.
Alright, yeah, let's do that. Let's start taking a short rest, and I'm going to flavour it that I'm starting to bandage people up.
It's just worth reminding people short rests are a thing, and quite a lot of you get
Yep.
short rest features back on short rests sometimes. So
And everyone will get to roll an extra 1d6.
1d8 because I think it's stupid. It's 1d6. It should match your bardic.
Oh.
Nice.
I don't need it. I took no damage.
Oh yeah, I
Derek
kept
will roll a
missing you,
dice
didn't I?
to heal.
An extra 1d8.
Derek will roll a dice purely to get that 1 HP back.
I will roll
next
several
day on
dice
top of
because I am
Balrick or
On
Arquen,
top
or
of every
both of you
any
can
other stuff you're gonna roll.
roll nature.
So what's your hit die is a D8. You can roll
It's a d6. I have 2
D6, yes. You have 5. Because you're level 5.
And don't forget to add your Constitution modifier to everything you roll
Yeah.
as well.
What's your con mod?
My con mod is 2.
So roll a D6 plus 2.
And then a d8 plus.
No,
plus
just a straight
one.
D8. Yeah.
And a D8.
As Balrick comes up to Arquen, he's just like, no need. Clearly, he's got a lot of scratches and whatnot, and bits of wood embedded in him, but they were just As they just start
Starts to heal slowly himself.
healing over. Yeah.
No.
I would also like to go
Well,
over to Ximori and just put a hand on their shoulder and just give 10 of my lay on hands. Just-
Thank
You
you.
get an
You
ominous
can roll extra hit die. You don't just only have to roll.
Arquen?
You can roll-
yeah.
You get a shiver of dread, momentary and fleeting, upon touching Ximori.
Well done.
Thank you. That does feel good, actually. I mean, itchy. Bleeding. That's nice.
Is everyone feeling all healed up?
I feel fine.
Yeah. Doing all right.
I do have healing if we need it.
Creaking over.
How's Tauri?
I'm actually at full health now.
Cool. So I
Sounds
go around
Lesley,
and give everyone
miraculously.
bandages.
Yeah.
Lesley was really cool and none of us saw it.
Yeah. Badass, like doing cartwheels off the back of the horse, sliding underneath.
Lesley keeps trying to tell us about all the really cool things he did, like fighting, like swinging underneath, like doing this whole thing. So like, no, he didn't.
Yeah,
No, he didn't.
Lesley,
We just see it.
Him and
Lesley.
I had-
Lesley,
What
mate,
have
I
I
was all like weirded out. I couldn't see any of it. I know I was looking at you. To be honest, I was looking at the horse, if anything.
I got a 17 with a -1. It's 17 total.
For nature.
We all start going up to Aora and being like, such a brave horse, you just a good job. You know,
Um,
then you're just there like, what?
Arquen, you just passively, kind of innocuously feel the forest has lost a smidge of its oppressiveness in the actions that you've taken.
I'll look around and just mutter under my breath in Sylvan. Rot runs deep. Anyone with particularly high... He's got a quite deep voice. Anyone with quite particularly high perception probably heard that anyway.
I just standing next to him, just like picking my teeth, like, what?
Me as Kristen didn't hear that.
What did he say?
So the rot runs deep.
Balrick is
In
the only one who
Sylvan.
would understand it.
Yeah.
Balrick is the only one who would understand it. And he does have very good passive perception. In Sylvan, he
Ximori,
might
who
go,
is standing next to you, does not understand it, but is just there like, what? Huh?
I'm going to talk back to you and go, in Sylvan, what are you on about?
It's not the only thing out there. But I think we're safe for now.
Yeah, these beer forests are full of nastiness.
More so.
Beer
in
Wild
recent
is close to
years.
you. Pardon?
I said more so in recent years. Sorry.
Yeah.
We shouldn't tarry.
Let's move on. Everyone's rested up.
Give them a moment, for pity's sake.
You get back up after bandaging wounds, having a little bit of something to eat. Doesn't really satisfy that little pit in you, Ximori. But you shoulder everything back up, calm back down Aor, and begin trekking off again. Can I have another survival check, please, Chris?
Yes. 22.
22. Again, you very quickly re-find your bearings and get back on the road, heading in the western direction towards where you can begin to start making out beams of sunlight coming through as you are nearing the edge of the forest. By the time you reach the outskirts of the forest, you're conscious you have been walking most of the day, with that rest in the middle as well. You're still fairly confident you are ahead of where you would have been if you had taken the long route, but not necessarily as quick as the distance of a shortcut you might have hoped. You can see the sun is now approaching towards the western horizon, and the light of it glancing off the low-lying cloud off the Mora foothills to the north. You've still got a couple of hours of daylight left to you. Up ahead, you can see a slow rolling slope leading towards a small lake that is in the shelter of the hills to the south of you, on the shores of which lies a town. The town, you're fairly sure, is Bandair.
Is it on fire?
Roll me a perception check.
We're back in business, boys. That's a 3.
3.
No, plus 3, 6.
6. From this distance, you cannot make out much details. Between the light kind of still glancing off the low cloud and off the lake there, your eyes kind of squint a little bit.
It's not
smoke
covered
or-
in smoke, so... I mean, I can see it. So it's not destroyed, I guess.
We need to hurry.
Okay.
Go.
You start trekking along, and due to the heavy rain that has been passing through all day, the rolling hills leading down to it are sodden and mud sucking at your boots. That is increasingly frustrating as you're travelling through. Lesley is cursing every word known in their own language, as well as a few in yours, at the disdain and disastrous ramifications that it's going to have to their high-quality leather boots. You start getting closer, as I say, by the time you are on the road leading into Bandair, this small road, nothing more than like a farmer's track that would lead up to grazing pastures as you're heading down. You're still maybe a mile out from Bandair at this point. Won't take you more than quarter to half an hour to reach Bandair. The sun is starting to dip towards the horizon, so as the kind of amber light of dusk begins to take over the sky. Is there anything you want to do or discuss before you head into Bandair?
I remember what the plan was.
What are we going to do? What's Aderyn going to do? Because the castigators are probably in there.
I think we did this so that we'd beat them.
Roll me an intelligence check if you want.
I am not smart.
6.
6. You don't know. You've not travelled these roads that well, Balrick.
Just straight intelligence. 14.
14. Yes, the route you took by the wisdom of Balrick should have put you ahead of them, but also it was perhaps slightly tougher than you had expected, and you were required to take a fairly long rest in the middle of it as well. You cannot be 100% certain. You may be closer to arrival than you would perhaps have initially first hoped.
50-50 whether we beat them. The fight, having to rest, has delayed us.
What
Which
proof
means-
do they have against me?
I don't know, but they don't particularly need it.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw how they
Proof that they
reacted.
believe you are an unlicensed practitioner of magic. That's it. That's all they need.
And they have witnesses that put you at the scene of a crime.
Oh, but we're going to disguise you as an old lady, aren't we? Shame. I think we left our disguise kits in the cart.
I didn't.
I got mine with me. I put down my backpack and start getting out my disguise kit.
Right, come in.
Right.
Vamos.
Who's doing it?
Turn her into an old lady.
You're actually going to become an old lady.
What is it to do it?
Balrick was being sarcastic.
Are you
Dex,
proficient in disguise kits for a start?
It is not in my tools, so no.
No.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades would apply to this, so you
Yeah.
would get half your proficiency.
So, rounding up or down?
It's
Down.
always down.
That's fine, I assume so, but I always check.
I am helping with my disguise kit as well.
Are you
Not
proficient in
everything
disguise
we do,
kits?
No, but I also have a disguise kit. Oh wait, no, sorry, I am proficient in disguise kits.
Okay, you can help. Perfectly fine, though. This feels like dexterity. It's a tough one. But yeah.
So do I help you? I will probably help Ximori, and I will give him, because I can also give him Bardic Inspiration.
You are not proficient in disguise kits, and therefore trying to help will probably be less helpful.
So it's better the other way around.
But it's not, because I have a worse dex than Ximori, I'm guessing.
But you would get advantage because Ximori can help you.
I will get advantage, but I will also not be able to Bardic Inspiration myself.
Oh, fair.
Aderyn, who would you prefer do your old woman makeup?
Lesley pops up.
Tauri, they're like, I've got the kit, and Ximori like, do you want me to do it?
Aderyn's gonna step away from Ximori and let Tauri do it.
Okay.
As soon as Ximori just whispers to him.
Ximori can still provide advantage, yes.
Ximori will remember that.
She's also like not spoken much since.
Well, I'm not going
Oh.
to complain too much because the dice, one of the dice is double the other. One was a 9.
Oh.
No?
The other
One
was a
an
4.
18. Plus
I thought you were going to say one was a 2, one was a 4.
plus 2. So I literally only get plus 2 for this.
Your dex is +1?
Mhm.
Oh, I thought your dex was +2.
Nope.
20 overall.
That's still very good. As you spend a little bit of time conscious that you are somewhat against the clock as well, applying some crow's feet, some liver spots, and other kind of aging effects to Aderyn, including essentially like an ash kit that you can like streak through her hair to properly like grey it up.
I kind of feel like I'm sure we tried this earlier on one of the nights, so I can imagine we kind of tried to keep like some of it there anyway, and this is kind of just touch up / making it the best. So I'm not saying it does anything, it changes the dice roll in any way, but I can imagine once we tested it, we kind of kept bits, like the hair especially.
It's a decent disguise. There
Just
is
make
one
sure you-
other aspect, however. that-
Light purple dress.
Correct.
And the big stick with all the crystals on it.
Can we go and find someone's house with a washing line outside?
In my disguise kit contains cosmetics, hair dye, small props, and accessories. So what I'd like to do with the staff, if Aderyn will let me, is to take a number of like a little bit slightly sort of raggedy pieces of cloth and basically wrap the crystals up in that so that it's at least not a great big crystally stick and is at least somewhat disguised.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest
Aderyn,
that
do you
we
have
kind of
any
wrap it
magic?
halfway down the stick so that it doesn't look a bit weird that only like the top part is.
Yeah.
And then it's like a hand grip as well.
It looked
Okay,
like I've
can I
run
find-
away from home.
Can I find someone's house with some clothes out in the yard?
There's
you enter the
also
town
my
of
rain
Bandair?
shawl.
As I say, you stopped about a half mile outside to sort this out.
Are there any outlying houses?
Roll me a perception check.
There is also my rain poncho.
27.
Which I offer Aderyn.
27.
No, there aren't. I'm very short.
There aren't any outlying houses per se. It seems like most of the town kind of keeps into the town, and as I say, what you're walking along is essentially a farmer's track that cattle would be led up, or some kind of like livestock herd anyway. So there's not necessarily kind of like a house or a washing line lying around, but what you do see
A group
is
just
of
also wanna point-
bikers who try and hold me at knife point.
No. You do
I also
see,
wanna
a like large burlap tarp or something that is like being put over like a feeding trough kind of thing to try and keep the rain off it. But might work.
I'm just going to point out, no one's going to be hanging their washing up right now. There's just been a rainstorm.
Perfect time to hang it up right after. There won't be another.
It's also near the end of day. You wouldn't be hanging it up at the end of the day either.
Maybe they
I'd
haven't
also
taken it down.
Are
I'd
there
also
any
like to give
houses that
Aderyn.
don't have a thing outside, but presumably have clothes inside them?
You can see them obviously
That's
in the
okay.
town. There would be houses to ransack and steal from, so as you wish. But yes, you
I
stop
would
the
also
burlap
like to
tarp.
give Aderyn. I would also like to give Aderyn my rain poncho.
The one that Aderyn's gone ew to many times.
Yes,
She will put it on
because
begrudgingly.
it is larger and less shapely, so it's at least going to cover your general form.
Aderyn, make sure you keep your hood up and hide the ends of your hair. They're quite noticeable.
She's gonna put the hood up and then she's gonna hunch it over.
Oh, where did Aderyn go?
Roll me a deception check
I mean, she's there,
or
Balrick.
performance, your choice.
Greetings, old woman.
Balrick, it's Arquen. It's still her.
Man, actually. My name, you could have called me Dennis.
That's a dirty
Your name
20.
was Dennis.
It's a fairly convincing old woman walk.
Nice.
The
Ximori
movement speed is reduced by
just
fraction.
hyping her up.
Ow.
You know?
All right, I see. I mean, it's a good old woman walk. I'd be
I know that
convinced.
I know that
Thank
it's difficult for you, isn't it, Aderyn?
It is very
You
difficult.
don't like. not-
Oh, voice. Could use some
That
work.
is a choice of
But you
voice,
really
yes.
could use some work. You
Maybe
use
sound
them
ill.
today.
You don't sound old.
someone else does talking.
This is our blind, deaf, mute grandmother. All of our grandmother.
It's not
Why
like
are you
there
going
isn't.
to-
It's this town that we think is about to catch on fire. Again, intelligence of 9. This is a great idea.
What do you mean about to, Ximori?
Oh dear.
No, I'm joking.
It is on fire.
Arquen rolled a 27 perception. If something was on fire, I think he would have noticed.
Right, I think we'll be
I
more
also had
surprised.
I had also rolled a perception check and I got a number.
Aderyn, to make it up to you, do you want to ride on Eeyore?
Well, it would be unseemly to make a grandmother walk.
Exactly.
What are you doing with all the stuff that's currently on AO?
I'll
I'm
carry some of
carrying it now.
Yeah.
Load up a couple
both
of saddlebags
boys will
on your
carry
shoulders.
I mean, we can carry AO maybe.
We can't, I think I checked.
Yeah, I know.
We can drag,
Together.
push, or lift all together. But our carrying capacity would mean we'd be at half speed lifting up the horse.
So what I'm hearing is
Oh,
we
hell.
can do it slowly.
Yeah.
Bite. Right.
It's a very tall
We
horse
can
going past
slide
that small house.
The double-decker bus.
While
Well,
this
those
sort of
double-decker horses.
bit is happening with his 27, he sort of Arquen does turn his attention to Bandair. Can he feel him at all?
Riding that 27.
With that 27,
Oh. Use a
You
divine
have, since you awoke, had a vague sense of direction. That vague sense of direction is pulling you into the town of Bandair. What frustrates you in this moment as someone who is kind of highly perceptive and pays attention to things is it's at this point that it becomes fuzzier. It's more of a broad scan kind of thing rather than being a pinpoint, which frustrates you, but at least you kind of are confident.
I forgot the divine sense has changed to be a 10-minute thing, so I won't do that yet.
No, this isn't your divine sense. This is something else.
This is plot relevant.
So, walking into Bandair, the first thing that hits you is the quiet. It's not silent. You can quite clearly hear the sounds of fishing boats knocking against the dock on the lakeside. The sound of livestock in the pens dotted throughout the town. Goats, cows, horses in a couple of places. The gentle pitter-patter of the fading rain on the rooftops as the rain begins to wash itself out. But there are no people wandering around. No one bringing in the evening fish haul. No one giving out the animals nighttime food. No one heading to the tavern for a drink after a day of work well done. The town is definitely lived in. Arquen, Balrick scanning around. There are laden carts put to the side of the road. Tools left out, some beginning to look quite exposed to the rain. Laundry left out on the line. But there are no people moving through the town.
Does it feel like there were people very recently?
You can roll me an investigation check if you like.
I absolutely will. I believe I'm an expert in that. I am indeed. That's 25.
Looking around, that laundry looks very wet. Like it's been out all day in this rain. But the way that everything is kind of placed and the state of kind of decay or anything else, it's not been that way for days or weeks. All of this stuff is fairly recently put there. But with that kind of roll, it's very clear that it was... Some of the things are just not put in a place where it's someone's done with that. There's a wheelbarrow put down in the centre of the road, crossing over. There is a chicken coop that the door is just kind of catching on the wind, opening and slamming shut. The chicken's long since gone through the open entranceway.
Can I check to see if there are tracks of a direction that all of these people headed in? Any sort of convergence?
Certainly, roll me an investigation check.
Oh, not survival? There's a bunch of mud around.
You can make it survival.
There's mud here, therefore it's survival.
It's been raining a lot. We're in a pretty rural town. There's going to be pretty muddy roads.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm hoping, because that was a 17.
17. That's your thought process, and you're confident that, like, if there was passage through this mud, you would notice. And what quickly becomes apparent is that there isn't. And with that roll, you're able to determine that the rain of the last day the heavy rain through this mud would have washed away any tracks made prior to today.
About 2 days ago.
So it doesn't look like people have magically disappeared. It looks like they have left for some reason.
I mean, we're not here.
This is setting me on edge a little bit. Let's
Perhaps,
get deep into town, Aderyn.
perhaps they were warned.
Okay. Someone get here first. Did we
There
send
might
someone
be-
ahead to warn?
Are there any watchtowers?
You take a look around. There are no watchtowers. There is kind of, you scan around towards the main road into town, which isn't the way you came in, but you can kind of see it just a little as you're kind of wandering through. You can see what looks like what would constitute like a guard station. It's clearly not. You're not sure why you know this, but it's very clear that while this town is at least sizable, it doesn't seem to have a serious scale guard presence. Scale guard would have a much more serious thing. This is more like a town militia. But what there is you can see next to it is a large kind of notice board that has a few kind of flyers still fluttering in the wind, having been nailed to it.
So I was more looking for. Beg your pardon. Are there any tall-ish towers that are, you could conceal yourself in and have a good... I will nudge Balrick and say, Balrick, if you wanted a good view and a good place to shoot from, where would you hide?
I'll have a look around for that.
Feel free to roll. It's perception at this point rather than anything else.
I will help.
Sure.
Help. Or are you rolling separately?
I can roll separately.
It's up to you. You said help.
I'll roll separate. Yeah.
Cool. So I got an 8, I think. Or 9.
I got 24.
Cool.
I think I might be pretty perceptive.
I'm pretty perceptive. I just rolled a 3. So.
Yeah.
You take a look around, and this place, much like most of the Empire, isn't tall. For the rest of you who are there, Jir stands out from the rest of the Empire with its like multi-level buildings. There are a couple of buildings in town that are kind of more than the 1.5 story that most buildings are built into.
I would like to sort of use the feeling in the back of my mind to think, got clear sight line. Where could I hide? Because...
Yeah. What you get from that is like all of these buildings is there isn't a sniper's nest. There isn't the clock tower that Sanroy Carr had that was, or bell tower was, sorry. That was an obvious one. If there's going to be someone using height to their advantage, they're just going to be on a rooftop. And while most of these places do have chimneys, often chimneys aren't big enough to necessarily hide behind. And with that perception check, like scanning around, you're not seeing anyone.
And Ximori is just going to walk over to one of the buildings and just try the door.
Sure. You walk over to one of the... it's a slightly larger...
Looking for like sort of like house or like...
Just a standard house kind of thing, yeah?
Just like, yeah, I think so.
Sure. You head over to a house that was like next to where this chicken coop door was slamming. Open. It's not locked, So you can just kind of push the door open and step inside. Inside, you find a relatively nice house. A couple of buckets of water have been kind of gathered to use as the house's water for the day or whatever. A loaf of bread is sitting half cut on one side. There's a secondary couple of chambers that you assume are bedrooms.
Just gonna go sort of look around just for sort of signs of life in general.
Sure, roll investigation if you want.
How long is all of this taken?
It's up to you. How thorough are you being?
Particularly just sort of looking around to see if there's like signs of like people leaving in a hurry inside, or if people are just sort of quietly.
Yeah.
It's like, is there like stuff left out as if they're still doing something and then they're just left, or if they're like, yeah, that's a 12.
12. Looking around, it's not like there's clothes still in chests at the foot of beds. There's still kind of cutlery in the drawers that if someone was fleeing would probably take as something they could pawn and sell off. You even find in a bedside drawer a small pouch containing about 12 silver pieces.
I have that. That's more money than I currently have.
The bread on the side is stale but not mouldy.
If they've gone, it was pretty recent, but not that recent. More than a day. Bread's all hard.
Dunk, dunk, dunk.
They don't look like the leaves left in a rush.
I don't think so. Like, the valuable stuff's still in here. Like, the easy to move stuff. If you're gonna, like, fleeing for your life, I don't think you leave all the silverware behind. You take some of it, so you got something to pay for. That's what I think.
I don't think anything's been upturned or, brushed past rapidly. It's just been put down.
Casual. I don't like this.
I don't think they've vanished. I think people are just left.
I don't feel natural though. Why would they?
They don't.
What was your last... Sorry, carry on.
I mean, what was it he said? They said, Amhrain. What was it they were going to do here?
Can't remember. We assumed they'd set another fire.
Does anyone have a point of inspiration? Because I used my last one.
I do have a point of inspiration. Can I remember?
I've not been given any. So.
Usually I end up giving inspiration out the session after when I've remembered to do it, so don't feel insulted. The poignant thing that you remember from that dream is that he was going to be making an announcement.
He was going to make some announcement. I think we assumed it'd be a fire again, but maybe it's something different. But what announcement is there going to be without an audience?
I mean, an announcement needs an audience. Didn't necessarily mean it was here.
Unless we're the audience.
Are there any large buildings that could...
Auditoriums?
Am I correct in thinking that we were told in the last town, city, whatever, where we met the Inquisitors?
In Samurai Car?
Yeah. That they were all pulled together to one place by the bard.
Yes, distinctly. They weren't necessarily pulled together. He offered to do a performance. They all met in the town square, and what happened was they were led on a merry dance, for lack of a better term anyway, through the town as the fires were lit.
Have we considered that he's already got them in one place?
That's what I was just about to ask. Are there any large buildings that could be?
As you continue moving through the town, getting towards more of the centre, slightly up from where the lakeside is, it's a relatively well spaced out town, modestly constructed. It's not a small village by any means. It's clear a lot of people live and work here. Up ahead of you, you can start seeing taller buildings, like more significant buildings, that seem to be primarily gathered around a courtyard. You see what looks like, you guess, a kind of tavern with a number of how the top floor is constructed into almost like separate rooms with the windows spaced evenly. At the centre of this courtyard is a well that's sitting in the centre that's got like a number of ropes leading down. And you can also see, just a little ways off from the courtyard, a small road up leading to a slightly separate section of the town. A large... To city folk you would call it a barn. But to more modest folk it would be a community hall, a town hall kind of thing. Balrick, roll me a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Kind of like scanning around, and you look at that building just up ahead and you peer at it, and you can see painted onto the front of it in like a embossed symbol or coat of arms is a swan holding a pearl on a field of blue.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That was on the building, did you say?
Yeah.
I think that's the building. That was in the dream. That emblem.
What was on that?
That's where we need to go.
Can I?
I recognise that. I had a ring with that on.
Can I
Who did I
quickly
give that to?
pull up a bunch of buckets of water from there?
Certainly.
Just
Just in
Okay.
case. There might be
Start-
fires. Just...
The squeak of the wheels is like breaking of the audible hush that has settled over the town. Someone that isn't Arquen can roll me a perception check.
60. Oh, no, sorry, 19.
19.
Aderyn, you can do one? You haven't done much yet.
Yeah, go on, Aderyn as well.
Auntie, what do you see?
No, it sounds like it's going to be...
It's a 7.
And mother.
Oh, I missed with the old woman image.
Ximori, what are you doing right now?
I'm sort of like standing back looking at the building with the coat of arms on it. And sort of looking around like the tavern. I think at the moment Ximori is relying less on their eyes and more on their ears, just straining against the silence to listen for the sound of people, of life.
Sure. As you're standing in the centre of this kind of courtyard, Arquen kind of breaks the silence briefly. You hear the sound of something tapping against wood, against clay tiles. You turn around to look at that glance and you see a brief shadow caught by the low setting sun flash up against the chimney on top of the tavern.
I would like to nonchalantly sort of make my way over towards the tavern wall, like as if I'm just looking for somewhere to like lean.
Tauri, roll me a
And-
perception check.
As I sort of get to it, I try to. Is it like sort of tavern, like slightly like overhanging, or is it like flat building?
The roof overhangs slightly.
Okay.
So like the edging comes about a foot away from the wall initially, providing a little alcove that often birds and the like kind of nest inside.
What I'd like to do is try and quietly, with my climbing speed, just make my way up the side of this building.
Make me a stealth check.
Try and. So I have a climbing speed of 45 feet.
I got 17, by the way.
17.
Stealth.
Tauri. As you see Ximori head over there, you catch something moving, and initially you pass it off as like one of the goats in a nearby pen. It's just kind of shifting around, and you notice that it's not very well cleaned out or anything like that. It hasn't been cleaned out in a couple of days. Pay attention a little closer, and there's definitely something moving about in that pen. I mean, smaller, weaving in between. Ximori, as you start climbing up, what did you roll?
17.
17. You start climbing up. You begin to hear, again, that sound of tapping on tiles. It's not feet, it's not someone in footwear. That's the sound of claws, of talons, like a bird, but it's wrong. Its movement's just a little too smooth. You climb up to the top. Roll me a perception check. What are the rest of you doing?
At this point, probably have stopped.
You've got a
Getting
couple of
buckets
buckets
out of the well.
at this point,
Yeah.
because you've like now noticed that Ximori is off and Tauri is paying attention to something. Aderyn?
I kind of.
Does Aderyn notice Tauri paying attention to the something?
I've probably mentioned it to people as well.
Okay, yeah.
Is it the towers noticed?
Something slithering through the goat pens.
Can Aderyn take a few steps towards the goat pen and kind of cast her mind out to see if she can like link to anything?
Ooh, okay. Make me a charisma check.
I'll be approaching the door with the emblem.
That's a short way out of the courtyard if you want to make that walk. You'd be leaving most people behind a little bit.
Oh no, okay.
21.
21. Cast your mind out. Looking for something. You pass through the non-sapience of beasts. Just looking, and then you hit something, and you're just... That fear that you were talking about earlier of looking at Ximori, you are hit by a wave of villainy, of a desire to sow terror and to remove innocence and good-heartedness from the world. And you hear a as this whatever you hit reacts, and you see something spring forth in a insectoid screech, a hunched over, yellow, chitinous, claw-limbed with spined, horrid-looking creature just leaps out from the goat pen towards your face. As Ximori, you crest to the top and peer around, and you come face to face with this hunched over, six-limbed, vulture-like creature with a long hooked beak and taloned fingertips, and it just as it emits a screeching cry, and you hear it picked up from other rooftops around the courtyard as more of these creatures climb up onto the tops of rooftops like gargoyles staring down onto the courtyard. The rest of you spin around, reach for your weapons, and that is where we're going to leave this story for now.
A bit creepy.
As you suddenly are aware, you have walked into a town where the people are missing, but creatures beyond this material plane have been drawn. And perhaps not going to have it as easy as you had hoped. We cast away as, again, you are all reaching for your weapons, and we will pick up this story another time. I do hope you all enjoyed this chapter, and we'll continue telling this story next time. But
I didn't think it was going to be easy, you bastard.
see you later.